Alright, this is Andrew with Joda Home Inspections. We are doing a sewer scope today here in Bountiful. Today is May 22nd, 2026, and we're at 2084 Davis Boulevard. We have the camera pushed out 127 feet to the city connection. Looks like a pretty heavily used city line. That's quite a bit of water and waste rushing down that line. Now we're going to pull it back and record it and see what we find. So that first connection point is where it goes into the city line, and that looks like it's going into a manhole. When you have that half moon shape, that's what it looks like when it's dropping into a manhole. I'm not sure what direction it's running, but it might be running towards the driveway, which would make sense. Be a little harder to go the other direction without going incredibly deep. And so my guess is that there's probably a manhole over in front of the driveway. A little bit of a lip there. Just barely. You don't want to have any significant offsets or else waste can get built up and stuck, but that's just a little tiny one. Pretty average length of a line, maybe a touch on the longer side. Average length that I see is around 100 feet. It's like probably clay pipe based on that lip right there. That's another little offset. That one's a little more moderate in size, but it's still not huge. One downside with clay is that you have a lot of joints, and so it's easier for roots to find their way in, which I haven't seen any roots so far. Hopefully we don't find any. Once you have roots, it's a maintenance item, and you need to stay on top of having them cleaned out. I'm accessing the line through the roof stack. Really not a lot of buildup in this line. There's some roots coming through there, so you could consider having it cleaned now, but those are not huge. You can see on the right hand side, a little bit on the left, that is toilet paper stuck to that lip, and that's a concern with an offset. If enough waste gets stuck, it could create a blockage where it backs up. As far as the size of the roots, they're on the smaller side. Oh, there's a huge one. Alright, so that's definitely big enough. I'd recommend the line be cleaned, and then evaluate it again. Once it's cleaned, there's more of the line that you can see. That's certainly big enough that I think it warrants cleaning it now. Ideally hydrojet it, and that'll blast out everything, as opposed to cabling it, which is cheaper, but it's going to get some of the roots, but it doesn't clean it as well as hydrojetting. Now it looks like we're going through some cast iron. A little bit of debris blocking my camera head now, but with cast iron it gets real rough and rusty. It will eventually need to be replaced. I would recommend having that looked at again once the line's been cleaned. Alright, so now we're just coming up the roof stack, so there's nothing to see here. We're just coming up the vertical pipe. So to recap, you have a mix of, looks like cast iron and clay. Cast iron under the house and clay through the yard. You do have some roots. I would recommend they be cleaned now. Some are small, but you have one joint that's at least 50% blocked, if not more. And so I'd recommend having the line cleaned. And then evaluate it again. Same with the cast iron. Never a bad idea to have the cast iron cleaned and then evaluated. It's kind of a catch-22 because when you clean it, it can thin it out or it can blow a hole through it. But if you don't clean it, it stays rough, and that makes it more likely for debris to get caught on it. There's a couple options on the cast iron. You can dig it up when it's time to replace it. It's going to be obviously the most difficult because you have to dig up the basement. The other option is a liner, and it does look like you have proper grade, and so I think this might be a good option or a good candidate to do a liner. And that's a sleeve that gets blown into that original pipe. I'm going to end this recording now.